is Kristen, and I will be telling you a story today about the legend of the Indian paintbrush by Tommy DePaola. Now this story takes place a long time ago, so I want you to close your eyes and picture back when the plains of the United States were roamed by Indians who lived in circles of teepees. In one tribe, there was a little boy named Little Gopher. He was a lot smaller than the other boys, and he wasn't able to ride his horse, run, or shoot with them because he wasn't able to keep up. But he realized that he had a special gift inside, because even from an early age, he would make little toy warriors out of scraps of wood and leather, and paint pictures on rocks. Still, his parents worried that he wouldn't keep up with the other boys. But then a shaman came to him and said, "Don't worry, Little Gopher. You'll be someone very important to this tribe. You'll be able to tell the stories of the tribe through your pictures." And so, Little Gopher went up to the very top of a hill one night, and he was seeking out a dream vision, a vision that would tell him what to do with his life and how to become a real man. While he was up there, the sky began to flood with clouds coming in, and through the clouds he could see a maiden carrying a roll of buckskin with her, and an old grandfather who carried brushes made with the hair from all different kinds of animals and pots of paint. The maiden says, "Don't worry. You will be able to paint the pictures of your people and tell the stories of your people. Look for a white buckskin, just like this." She unrolled this big buckskin, and it was white, pure white. And she says, "Find that buckskin and then paint the colors of the sunset on it." And so the clouds began to part, and a beautiful sunset appeared in the sky. And Little Gopher knew he had to paint that sunset for his people. He goes and runs down the hill to talk to his tribe and his family, to tell them what he saw. The very next day, he starts to make brushes out of the hairs of animals. He finds buckskin and stretches it between pieces of wood to make it really tight and really strong. And then he begins to paint. He paints pictures of hunts and of visions that people have. Sometimes he longs to be like the other boys and hunt and be warriors. But he knew that wasn't his path. And still, he looked for the colors to paint his sunset. But no flowers were bright enough, no berries were colorful enough to paint the sunset as he saw it. But he had found his white buckskin. A few months earlier, he had stretched it between two pieces of wood and prepared it for the paint he knew would come. One night, when he was sleeping, he heard a voice, and he woke up and he listened. It said, "Little Gopher, Little Gopher, don't worry, you'll find your paint. You have been so good and so diligent about painting what you see and painting for your people, that we will give you the color you search for." tomorrow night at sunset, go to the top of the hill where you watch the sunset, and there will be paint for you in all the colors you need. So, the next night, as the sun was beginning to set beneath the hills, Little Gopher put down his own brushes, took his white buckskin, and ran up to the top of the hill. To his surprise, he saw on the hill paintbrushes stuck into the ground with paint all on the top of them. He began to quickly paint with the colors that he saw in the sky that were there with him. And as the sun set and the sky grew dark, he had finished his painting. He quickly ran down to his village to show everybody what he had just accomplished. And he left the brushes on the ground. The next morning, when everyone woke up out of their beds, they looked outside and saw the hills, all the hills, were covered in beautiful, bright-colored flowers, red, orange, yellow, and purple. The paintbrushes had taken root during the night, and the people celebrated. And then every spring after that, when the hills would bloom with color, they would thank Little Gopher, and they would chant for him and sing his praises. But by then, they didn't call him Little Gopher anymore. They called him He Who Brought the Sunset to the Earth. The end.